Now, I've been on a few holidays on canal boats over the years, and there was this one time where we had to go through this really long tunnel. And it was the type of tunnel that was so long, it was so dark, and all you could see was a tiny speck of daylight at the end. Now, I'll admit I was a bit creeped out by this, didn't like it. It was dark, it was damp, and in true British summer holiday style, it was chucking it down with rain. Now, it took us over an hour to get from one end of the tunnel to the other. So I, of course, left my dad to steer the boat with my mum for company, and I went into the boat, made a cup of tea, and hid under a duvet. Now, sometimes when we go through life, it can feel like all we can see is that tiny glimmer of light at the end of a tunnel. That tunnel we're going through can feel really dark. It can be really scary, and it can feel like it's never going to end, or at least it's going to take a long time. But sometimes the tunnel is so dark, so long, you can't even see that speck of light. You can feel like you're just surrounded in darkness, and all you want to do is hide from it. I can recognise those times in my life, and to be honest with you guys, right now feels like a bit of a tunnel for me. I wonder where you are. Maybe you're on the top of a canal boat roof in the sun, you're cruising through life and things are great, and that is brilliant. But maybe you're in a tunnel. Maybe it's dark and it's damp and it's scary. It's okay. Whatever season you're in, it's okay. Jesus, we read in the Bible, had both of these times in his life. He had times with his friends and family where he was eating and having a laugh. But we also read of times where he was scared, he was upset, he didn't like the way things were going, and he cried out to God. I don't know about you, but I have certainly done that in my time. But the thing is, when we can't see that light, or it might feel so far away, doesn't change the fact that the light is still there. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 17 to 18 says, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." Now, Paul, who wrote 2 Corinthians, he'd gone through rejection, he'd gone through suffering, and even the threat of death. But Paul still saw that light at the end of the tunnel. He saw what Jesus had done for him on the cross. The work that means that whatever Paul or you and I or all believers go through means we have the reassurance of heaven, the reassurance of God's love for us that meant Christ died for us. We have that hope that one day things will be all right again because of Jesus. So we know that even when we don't see that light, it is there. God has got it in hand. But sometimes that tunnel can still seem just as dark, even when we know that. And sometimes all we want to do is run into the boat and hide under the duvet. But God isn't just in the light waiting for us at the end of the dark times. Psalm 46 verse 1 says this: "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." God is with us. Whether we feel it or not, he is there. How we feel can't change God's presence with us, his strength that we can lean on, That's always there. Psalm 61 verses 1 to 4 says, "Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. Let me dwell in your tent forever. Let me take refuge under the shelter of your wings. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." God is so much bigger than what we have going on. He is above and stronger than our troubles. But He cares about them no matter how small and wants to help us through. When we feel faint, like we can't go on, or we just want to hide, let's help each other to cling to God, to take shelter in the promise that God will get us through this. That light is there. Now, up here on my wall, I have Isaiah 43 verse 2, and I read it every day and it gets me through the tough times. And it says this: "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame will not consume you." The darkness we face and the troubles we're in, they don't get the last word. They don't get to take hold of us. They don't get to overwhelm us. A couple of years later, I went on another canal boat holiday, and there was another tunnel, but this time didn't scare me. Not only did I have the hope of the light at the end of the tunnel, but I had a light on the boat to get me through. So let's carry on, clinging to God in hope.